We're going to explore this diorama card kit by Hunkydory. And let me just give you a heads up. This is what it looks like. We'll get in closer so you can see. And the diorama, as you can see, it's 3D, and these will fold flat for mailing and pop up for making everybody happy. And Kathy has several options for us in addition to following the directions on the package. Package makes 16 very special cards. Come play with us. Well, inside the package, you're going to find directions. And in addition, some of the directions are actually written on this sheet. So we're going to follow these steps, but they're also in the instructions down below for each of the cards. And you're going to be able to make 16 cards. It's actually 8 cards, 2 of each, so that makes sense. And inside, there will be envelopes for the 16 cards. That's always wonderful. And there's also some pieces of acetate. Now, it's the snowfall acetate with which we are very familiar because we love it. But there's also this starfall acetate, very pretty with the stars on it. That's for the poinsettia and the Bethlehem cards specifically, is what the directions tell me, so we'll do that. But let's get started with this card, which is the basic card. So let me just show you how that goes together. And there are 2 cards on each of the sheets. So this is called Forever Festive, and you can see it's got those little teddy bears, but it also has poinsettias. The poinsettias Kathy did in a slightly different way, so I'll show you that in a minute. But so you've got this sheet. These are the die cuts. They're foiled, as always. There's also this sheet of the card backs, and the card backs have the image on both of them. And then there's also the card fronts. And all of these, so you get 2 cards in each of these, and you're going to get 2 of each of the sheets. So that's 4 cards already. And again, these are all labeled Forever Festive, and that's how we did it in the directions. That way you know that you want to get out your festive, Forever Festive sheets to begin with to make this project. And the way that you do it is to begin with the backing sheet. So that's this one. So I'm just going to pop this out. And this is another place where the directions are, so that's fine. And the things that you will need for all of these is a bone folder, because these are scored, but it's just always a good idea to go over that score when you fold it to make that a very crisp fold. So bone folder. There's also the extra sticky tape. We use the 1/4 inch. Whenever you have acetate, which we do on all of these, this extra sticky tape is going to make sure that everything is adhered perfectly. The other thing, this requires foam tape. And our love is this big giant roll of foam tape because of the value and because of how long it lasts. But you can also get smaller packages from us. So whichever works for you is what we want for you. Now we're going to start with this piece. And let me scoot this out, and we will do some folding on the score lines. So there's score lines, 2 on each side. We're going to do the first one in a valley fold and use our bone folder, and the next one in a mountain fold, just like that. Do the same thing on the other side, valley, and that's the valley, and then following that with a mountain fold, and you can see the mountain and the valley right there, just like that. Now, then we will go to the sheet with the die cuts, and we're going to take the one that's labeled B1. So the poinsettias are all A1 through 8 or 9, I think, and the B bears are down below. So we're going to take the first one, pop it out. You see, I've done a little popping before you. And we're going to attach this with foam tape, of course, 2 layers, actually, 2 layers of foam tape. Let me get that little bit of something out. And you just want to make sure that it adds, it coordinates with the art, keeping the bottom close to the bottom of the card. Now you'll notice that it's really, because it's foiled, so it's going to add more depth and more attention to the inside. So we're going to attach that with 2 layers of foam tape. Then we're going to take the acetate, excuse me, yes, we are going to attach the acetate with the extra sticky tape. So we're going to put a strip on each of these lighter areas, and those are just perfectly placed for us to attach the acetate. And in this case, we have the snowfall acetate. So it's already cut to size. All you need to do is put the tape, remove the liners, and position this on top, just like that. So already you have a snowfall look. But then we're going to add some things to the acetate, and that's where you're going to play with the B2 is going to be added. I'll pop that out. In fact, they just do such a great job at Hunkydory. We call these nibs, the little nibs that allow the die cuts to be attached to the paper, and that just works really well. Now you want to attach this again with foam tape and position it so that it is overlapping the art that's down below, because you don't want it looking off sides. Now we're going to add some other pieces to it, and you can see that the B3, that the little hat is going to go. In fact, both of them have hats, but we're not going to add the other pieces. So let me show you what's going to happen there. So I'm just going to set this aside, and I'm going to bring in the sheet that talks about card fronts, okay? And I'm going to pop this out. And I'm also going to remove this center area. This is going to make our window, our aperture, whatever you want to call it. We're going to hold on to that because we're going to use this at the end. Now again, we have that same outline as we did before, but we're going to reverse the score lines and the folds. So this time, we're going to take the outside one and score that in a valley, like so. And then obviously the next one is going to go the opposite direction in a mountain fold. So as I said, they're already scored. They do a nice job of getting that ready for us. So you can see there is a mountain and a valley, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Start with a valley and then go to a mountain. Okay, now on the back of this, we are going to add some of the die cuts that are remaining. So let me get back to that sheet. And what we want to add are the these two, this number B8 and B9. And I'll show you on the finished one, just that way, as exciting as it is to watch someone foam tape. So they're going to get foam tape just right behind the frame. So there you go, and that one, so both of them. And then there's some little packages and a little bird that's separate that you can foam tape those. So our window is not just a window, it also, that's part of the diorama, the 3D of how this is put together. So they are just right here and going on top of the piece that is laying on top of the acetate. And then you also have some greetings and a little border. So those have been just foam taped on top of the frame. How easy, but how darling. Well, of course, the hard work's been done for us. Oh, so at that point you have your frame. Let's get it attached. And you'll do the same thing. So let me scoot this over. You're going to put extra sticky tape on the back side of the side panels. And you can put, a couple of strips. And then this is going to get secured on top of the first one, which is holding that acetate in place. All done. Oh, not all done. Remember this that you pulled out of the window? That is going to go on the back of your card. It's kind of a ghosted image. That way it's perfect for writing your message, and you have a small amount of space, but probably the exact right size to leave a wonderful message. So that is how you do the diorama card. And it's the same process for all of them, okay? Now, I'm going to scoot this aside, and as I said, there are envelopes in there, so that's very, very nice. So it's all complete. And we'll move on to our second card. Now, our second card is actually another duplicate of the basic directions, but I really wanted to show it to you because Kathy did a great job. And in this, let me show you the layers that she used and also show you 2 more cards. So these are the die-cut foil pieces. So you can see there is a fox and a cute little something that I can't remember. What? A hedgehog. Of course, it's a darling hedgehog. And here is also the fox and the hedgehog and Santa and Friends. That's the other card. And then this is the front piece of them. This is the back. And then, of course, this is all the innards. So with this, Kathy just exactly followed the directions. So she first gave her back area and then foam taped with a double layer of foam tape, one of the die cuts. And it's always the very first one. So this is B1. And that's the one that's going to go there. Again, it gives some dimension. It begins giving dimension. This too uses the snowfall acetate. So you will use the extra sticky tape to affix that. Then you're going to add the other die pieces. And again, as I said before, there are directions in the package, but then there are also directions right here on the card back sheet where you'll see it. So everything is just, really nicely done. Then you're going to take and remove that aperture, that piece in the middle, and set it aside. And then you're going to put things on the back side of that frame, and you can see how nicely this creates another little 3-dimensional scene. And then when you're all ready, you've added all the pieces to the acetate area as well as to the frame, then you attach them both with extra sticky tape. Now, and again, Kathy did one of the greetings and the border right down below. Now, another thing that you can do is you can add a little bit of dazzles. And so you can see the silver border dazzle right there and on the edges. I just added that just to give it a bit of sparkle and shine. In fact, you can see the ones that I removed. There were 2.5 pieces. And just in case you didn't know, whenever I'm using dazzles, the border dazzles, and I have a piece left over, I always just put it right back on the backing piece because you can keep using them. You don't need to throw them away. And so just adds a bit of sparkle on each side and along the top. So that works nicely. Okay, you want to see something else? Now, Kathy has done a really interesting other idea. And look at this. This is on a slimline card. So just works beautifully. I was so surprised. Now I'm going to pull back these pieces because we did the bear, but I wanted to just call your attention to the poinsettias. So we've got the backing, the card front with the window, and then we have all the die cut pieces. So let me just walk you through what Kathy did, and you can also see it on the directions. So she took her slimline card, and then this piece, she simply wanted this center area. So she just cut along the score lines, and then she glued that vertically onto her card base. And you can kind of see right there, you can see those little bits of, kind of looks like glitter. It's not shiny, but it kind of looks like glitter. That's the area here. So that gives you a basis from which to continue to move, okay? Now, we're going to go to our card front. So we're not adding any of the die cuts at this point. Okay, so we've used that one. Now we're going to take this one, pop it out, remove the window. You're going to save that for later. And then we're going to trim off that curved edge from that end and from that end. We're going to use those in a minute. In fact, we'll use them right now. And we're going to glue them, and you want the tip of this to be at the tip of the card. Same thing at the bottom, that tip to be at the bottom tip of the card. So that's just down flat. Now, we will take this piece and we will glue that on top of the first one. And let's see, just to demonstrate that. So you're gluing that whole piece just on top of that center area that you had placed. And again, you've got a window. So now that the window's there, you can add 3D pieces. So what Kathy did is she just did exactly what you would have done before, what she did before. You're going to go with A1 and foam tape that down. You're going to go to A2, A3, A4, now the 2 holly pieces, the A5 and A6, again, this is in the directions, save those. We're going to use those on the inside. So you can use everything but those 2 pieces, okay? Foam tape them in place. Super easy, just place them over the matching art and use that foam tape. Then she got our crepe ribbon set, which I just love because I think I smashed this guy. Now, if that happens to you, I would use a bit of Zot underneath it just to hold it where you want it to be, okay? So you can control those ribbons. So tie your bow. The crepe ribbon I especially love because you can smash it, you can stomp on it, it still makes a really pretty bow. So that's nice. So Zot that there. And then she took, you always get a couple of greetings that are foiled and then a border. I'm going to call that a border. It's kind of a greeting too. So she took the Deck the Halls and foam taped it at the top. So that completes our card front, but for the inside, super easy. She took this piece that we pulled out of the window, placed that, and because it is this lighter one, it's great for writing. And she put the 2 holly pieces, top and bottom, and then she put the border right across the top, and it fits perfectly, and it just makes a nice horizontal piece to all of these verticals. And that's it. Nicely done. Now with this, you can use the envelopes that are included. If so, you will need to cut your card, or you can just get the regular slimline cards and envelopes, so whichever works better for you. Okay, so with this point, you have seen 4 cards, okay? Now we're going to go to this one, and look what Kathy has done. She has made this into a 5x5 gatefold card. Clever. Let me show you what she used. Let me first show you the pieces from the kit. So in this case, we are using the robin. So there's the robin front, and there are the die-cut pieces. Now there's also this Bethlehem piece. Now remember, that's one of the ones that they recommend using the Starfall acetate, which I have never seen before, and I'm going to talk to them about it. And there's also, of course, the card backing. So there's the robin. How about if I turn it this way? There's the robin, and there's the Bethlehem scene. So very nice. Now, we're going to do a little bit differently. So we're going to take the 5x5 cards. Now, you can do these one of 2 ways. Hunkydory provides us with the 5x5 cards and envelopes. That's a great way to do it. But you can also make them out of our 5 by 6.5 inch cards just by trimming the bottom. So that's going to work out nicely. So take your white card, lay it out flat. There'll be a score line here, and then take each end, bring it to the middle, and just make sure that they meet. Do not let them overlap, and burnish the folds, okay? So that's going to make the basis of your gatefold card. Now, Kathy felt that she needed some more pieces because the card base needs to get covered with something, and the die cuts that are provided are not quite large enough. So she went to, surprisingly, at the lake. Now, why do I say surprisingly? Because we're making a Christmas card, and this is really something we thought about for summer. But she wanted to get something to use to make this scene of the sky. And so there's lots of opportunities in here. And so she cut a piece to fit on each side. Well, actually what she did is she found the area that she wanted on the pattern and then cut it to be 5 by 5 and then cut it in half. That way you're going to be cutting it perfectly in the middle so that the scene carries over. Okay, does that make sense? Then she also used the At the Lake solid cardstock, and I'll show you that on the inside of the card. But right now, let's just stay to the outside of the card. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this aside for a moment, and I'm going to go to the die cut pieces, the foil pieces. So she's got the sky there, but she needs this area. So this is going to be A1. It's the top piece. And she cut it. Now this is obviously wider than what our card is. As you can see, it's a little bit wider, but it's going to fit quite nicely. So she started at this area, glued that down and trimmed it right to the right of that tree, and then took this piece and glued it over here and then trimmed off the excess. Or you can measure 5 inches there and then cut it in half, however you want to do it. And that's going to get glued just to the card front. Now, how about taking, and this is what Kathy did, which I think was brilliant, is to make these wonderful corners around the front of that card. So you've got something. You've got the center of this card. So pop that piece out, cut that side, and then cut these into 4 pieces. Okay, so you just need it to be 2.5 inches wide on each side, and then just cut this in half, and then foam tape those pieces to your card. And doesn't that look nice? Now, she also wanted to add a Christmas greeting. So Winter Wonderland, well, that is one of the sheets in our Christmas Tiny Words and Phrases. Now, obviously, you can see the red. There's green and black and silver all inside. And that's going to just do really nicely for you. So Winter Wonderland is there, or you can add Merry Christmas, Joy, Believe, Jingle All the Way, Ho Ho Ho, lots of different things. Now on the inside of her card, she wanted to decorate that too. And fortunately, there's lots of pieces here. So she went into the solid At the Lake, and you can see all the colors right there. And she took the light blue and covered each of these pieces on the inside, and just really nice. Now she did want to edge them a bit, so she used, placed the pieces on her craft mat, used her blender brush along with electric blue prism ink, and just went along the edges. Now, although this card is 5 by 5, the center area, you're going to want to cut a piece that's like 4 7/8 by 5, because you don't want to go over those score lines. Okay, so cut that blue, that measurement, and then these can be just slightly less than 2.5 by 5. And so you're going to cut those, you're going to ink them, and then glue them into the card. Now, the tan, these two, you can see the tan right there. There's a brown and a tan. She wanted to go with the tan, kind of go with the colors that are right there. And those are narrower, as you can see. And those were inked with the famous gingerbread that Sarah lives by and many of us love, and did also ink the edges with the blender brush. So that went on top. Now, let me show you. So this piece is from, it's kind of deceiving a little bit because it is the whole piece here, but it doesn't cover the whole area. So you might think, well, now what am I going to use? But what Kathy did is she cut this and then glued it to the inside. You need to trim it so that it's 4 7/8 inches wide, and glued that so it was at the top of her card. That makes sense? A little bit of blue is showing. Then she used this one. So we've already got the A1 in the front of the card. So this is A3. And this gets foam taped at the bottom. So it's going to cover up the bottom that wasn't covered by this first piece, okay? So this piece goes at the top. Let's see. Let me give you a visual here. Let's fold that back. There you go. So you can see that that's up there. And then this piece is down at the bottom. And then you've got some extra pieces that you can use. Now, for your gatefolds, the gates, we took this piece, this is A6, and trimmed it so that one piece could be here and this piece could be here, so at the bottom. Then you've got some extra pieces. So we have the roof of the cottage, we've got a separate bird, so you can use that there and there. We have some extra trees, so we've added, so you can still use those quite nicely, okay? Now we're not doing the Bethlehem scene, but it is there, and that is part of your cards. And we will take those out, and you can foam tape those greetings. And the stars came from the Christmas tiny words and phrases. So that takes care of another way that you can use these diorama cards to create something equally festive, equally lovely, and quickly too, because all those pieces are ready for you, and having that foiling on them just makes them great. Now we are offering this on the Money Saver. You'll save 10%, so that's always nice. The other two cards, oh, I wanted to show you the other two. So I've shown you these cards, but the other two that you can make are these. So let me just show you. There is the Shetland cow and the musicians. So that's the back layer. Here are the die cuts, oiled, and here is the front layer. So you're going to get two of every single thing. Okay, that's it. And so you've got quite a variety. You've got charming with the bunnies, you've got the fox little scene, you've got the poinsettias, you've got a nativity set, just a wide variety. And that's nice for the wide variety of friends who you're going to be sending cards to. Okay, that is our Christmas diorama. The Money Saver is on the right-hand side. Now that's the only place that you're going to get the discount on this, is the Money Saver. So if you're interested, that's where you want to buy it. You can also see, as I said, there are directions down below. They're written out for you. You can print them off. That will take care of you. Hunkydory has given us the basic instructions as they put this kit together, so that was really nice. And I want to tell you, if you're watching us on YouTube, please head on over to paperwishes.com. You can see the all the products and the things that Kathy used, and leave a comment if you like. You can also leave a comment on YouTube. We watch that also, and we hope you'll like us and click that and subscribe to us, all of that. Now, I do want to let you know that we're not at the end of Christmas yet. We're really just getting started, so we've got lots of things for you. I want to thank Kathy for being so creative in doing those different things that you can do with this card kit. That's always fun to see, just in case you don't want to do it this way, or if you want to save those ideas for another time. That's perfectly great. Okay, well, thank you, Kathy, and thank you for being absolutely the best part of our paperwishes.com. We'll see you next time.